Hello everybody and welcome back to SkySaga Make It Real, the series where I am taking items from SkySaga and bringing them into the real world. And today we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing Icor, or at least Icor vials. I'm not really sure I can do the actual Icor inside, because that's going to be some kind of powdered substance, I would assume. And I don't really want to do that. However, what I do want to do is make these Icor vials and actually make them real physical vials that have a cork, well, have a 3D printed stopper in the top, and that 3D printed stopper can be removed and stuff can be put inside. And I also am going to do my absolute best to print this glass section in the middle of the bottle as an actual transparent thing. So this is going to be a bit of a test for me and my 3D printer, because I've never printed something quite as transparent as this is going to need to be. So we're just going to have to see how that one goes, basically. So this one is a bit of an interesting thing, because I can't really do too many of the techniques I've already shown here in the channel when I've been going through and building these things. And there's not really a lot of reference for the size of these things. I will say they are kind of huge. When you drop them, they do take up a full meter by meter space, but that is an unrealistic size, and I really don't want that. I'm looking to make the width at the widest point to be somewhere between 8 and 10 centimeters. I think I'll do 10 centimeters as the kind of initial design, and if I don't have the time to push that off the 3D printer, I'll shrink it down to 8 centimeters. But as you can see in the little accompanying side shot image, these things aren't perfectly square, they're kind of rectangular, but that is fine. I can deal with that, and I can definitely make that stuff happen. The only problem with this is my dimensions here may be a little bit out, because as you can see, this bottle is on a slope when it hits the ground, which means that my image of the front face here is going to have a little bit of parallax error in it. So I'm just going to have to see what I can do about that. I'm going to have to take a few measurements and kind of add a little bit to them, I guess, to try and make them actually work. But that's the next step. I'm going to take a whole bunch of measurements here. It shouldn't be too bad. I should be able to take a measurement of the base plate, a measurement of the full width, a measurement or 3 of the glass, a measurement of the stopper at the top, and then a measurement of the blue section at the top that's the stopper sits into. So the only other problem I can foresee happening here is that I do actually want to do this in blue and green as it is shown on the screen. I don't have any brown, so that's either going to have to be orange or black, and the blue I have is more bright, like ultramarine blue, so this is going to look a lot more interesting, I guess I should say, than the version you're currently seeing. Anyway, let's design this guy up. So the main section of the base is now in the modeling software, as you can see, and this is actually proving to be a little bit difficult because the parallax error I was talking about earlier means that I can't even really use this image on the right hand side here. It was giving me really weird results. So I've had to go through, find a different photo, take a measurement of the length and width of the cork and get the ratio between the two, and then just kind of assume that all of the pieces share the same ratio. So it actually turns out to be 2 to 3, which means that the width is the 3, and the width is the 3, and then the depth is the 2. Because of course, as you can see by this photo, it is shallower than it is wide. So it's been a little bit of trial and error to get this in, and even when doing that and taking some pixel measurements, I've still had to modify the space section down a little bit because it looked a little bit too big. But this is coming along well, actually. This is I'm pretty happy with this so far. Probably going to do a little bit of rounding on some of these edges just to make it a little bit less blocky. And then there are other detail work stuff to go into here later on. But that is not for right now. Right now I want to do the basic shape. So I'm going to leave this as this blue in the software because this is actually going to be a relatively close representation of what the blue is that I can do. Actually, I could probably find a slightly better blue, just something a little deeper, something more like this. That's kind of more the blue that I have. So that's going to be great. This is going to look really, really blue for the stone rather than the blue that we need for a SkySaga piece. Anyway, that is totally fine. We can work with that. So now I'm going to model up the bottle and the top section of this thing. Okay, so here we go. This is what the bottle is going to end up looking like. So this is the whole thing almost done and dusted. The parts are now color coded exactly as they're going to come off the printer, or pretty much close to. So we're going to do top and bottom in this blue, and then I've got the transparent green, which I'll hopefully get transparent, and then we've got a black stopper. Now, like I said, the black is just... it's a temporary thing. I have to do black because I don't have any other colors available to me right now. One thing I did want to do with you guys on camera though, just quickly, is actually want to hollow this bottle out. So we're going to move this out just a little bit, and then we're going to hollow this out on camera because there's a very, very easy way to do this. I just click shell, and that's basically that. I just need to set the thickness inside to be the thickness I want, which in this case is 0.8, because that is 2 layers of 3D printed plastic, so that is going to make a very, very nice part once I actually get it to the printer to get printing. So that's that. It's pretty much there now. There's a few little details on the actual stonework in the body that I'm not sure if I actually want to get to right now. I do need to do a lip around the top edge of the base here, and I need to do a lip on the top edge of the cork. Also, I'll just quickly show you, the cork is really, really cool. If I move the cork out of the way, you'll see that the top section is completely hollow, which means that when this guy goes back into place, somewhere around there, that is a direct hole all the way down into the actual thing. So it's hopefully actually going to make a real jar. It may not be airtight, but it should, fingers crossed, actually hold things. So all going well, the next thing you'll see is a time lapse of this guy printing. So here it is. We have an Icor vial, and it's actually printed at a very decent size. I'm very, very happy with this. So it does actually work as well. So as you can see, I can pull the top off, just like that, and that is a complete vial. I can even stick my finger inside, and you can actually see the finger through the transparent glass here. It didn't come out quite as transparent as I'd hoped, but it came out pretty well. Like I said, you can see the finger through there, so anything I actually stick inside here will show up through the outside, and you can just see a little bit of color too. So that actually worked out really, really quite well. So this one hasn't actually been glued together yet. I'm unsure as to whether or not I want to paint these blue sections, because it did come out pretty bright blue, but it does look pretty good in these colors. Part of me does want to paint it just to put it back to that very nice stone SkySaga look, but I'm also very, very happy with it. Also, I will point out there was a little bit of stringing and stuff that you saw in the time lapses, and that was just, there was a piece of support material that went up the back here, up to this tiny little ridge that kind of broke away and did its own thing, and that left some thin wispy bits of plastic out the back here, but I've kind of cleaned most of those up, and I'll probably hit this thing with a file just to get rid of the last couple, and then it will be done and dusted. But so there you go. That is one SkySaga Icor vial out here in the real world, done and dusted. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that one, and I will see you in the next video.